sales of The Sun went up by how much when topless page 3 was launched in 1970? The answer is 40%.
That's right, the Sun's circulation went from 1.5 million to 2.1 within a year of page 3 going topless. 4 million when I worked there in 1990. Just under 3 million today. You're watching Wednesday's Right Stuff with Stephen K. Amos, Leslie Garrett and Jimmy Mystery. Still to come this morning. What would you do if your car was blocked in your drive by another? Would you sit and wait for the other driver to come along? Call the cops, maybe? Or shove it out the way? 0207 173 5555. That's the number. Give us a tinkle. First, though, is page 3's 40th birthday anything to celebrate? Is page 3 just harmless fun or a massive slight against women? How can we teach kids to treat both sexes fairly when Britain's biggest-selling daily paper treats the fairer sex as an object to be gawped at or lusted after? How can we get our daughters to challenge sexist attitudes, to stand up for themselves when we make girls stars if they get their yayas out? Nicely done there on graphics. In 1986, Claire Short famously tried to have page 3 banned but failed. She went on to accuse MPs of not taking the issue seriously. Mention breasts, she said, and 50 Tory MPs giggle and fall over.
And that's just the girls.
And then there's The Sun's hypocrisy, of course. The paper that campaigns against paedophiles used to slap 16-year-old girls on page 3 to push up circulation and continued to do so until 2003, when new laws were brought in to raise the minimum age for topless modelling to 18. I'm not a fan of page 3. I'm going to start with you, Jimmy. What about you?
I was just saying before, I can't quite believe there is still page 3. You know, and I don't...
It's just harmless fun, mate.
Oh, yeah, well, what's fun... I mean, what do you do? Look at it and laugh? Oh, that's fun. I mean, I don't know what is fun about it. This is what I don't understand.
It's the funny words they write. Forget about the words.
Oh,
Forget about the words.
I mean, it's a topless girl, you know, and I just wonder who actually looks at it. Is it 16-year-old boys? Is it...
Our floor manager, I think, he learnt most of his guide to the female sex from page 3.
But the thing is, if people want to see that sort of thing, there are other magazines and websites. I'm sure they can find it. It's supposed to be a newspaper.
It's peculiarly unsexual in a funny way, though, because...
So what's the point of it?
The photographs are shot in this neutral way. And I've read psychologists who talk about it's actually a mother bond that perhaps men get from it. Which is a bit creepy.
This is flummoxing me even more now. If I look at that and it reminds me of my mother, then there's something wrong. But, I mean, what is the point? I don't understand what it is, to be honest.
There is no point. It's appalling. It's an appalling exploitation of young women. It's not a bit of fun at all. It's just exploitative to young women who are looking for a little bit of fame or something. It's degrading, it's demeaning, it's disrespectful, it's terrible. It's appallingly badly paid, apparently, as well. And also, I mean, what does it do for the image of the person looking? I mean, if I see somebody reading The Sun, I think dirty old man. I do.
Do you?
Absolutely. And it's not somebody I'd want to talk to. There's nothing at all to be celebrated about this.
But it has been assimilated into our culture to the point where I think when I was a kid, it was all quite naughty. Now, it doesn't actually register with me until I think about it. And when I think about it, I hate it.
Good. I'm glad you still do. We all should. It needs to be stopped. It's entirely inappropriate.
And I'm in favour of pornography, by the way. I think pornography, there's a place for pornography, but mixing news and pornography
It's a national newspaper. It's completely inappropriate. Yes, absolutely. You could argue women should have the choice if they want to, in a free society, to take their clothes off and be paid to do that, and that's absolutely fine. But it's just not right in a national newspaper that's there for everybody, including children, to see any time of the day or night.
Stephen?
Are you getting that? Are you getting this now?
Yeah.
I'm making it clear.
Just to throw something else into the mix. Go on. You mentioned that when you were a kid, it was a bit like, ooh, maybe that's what it's... Because kids can't buy pornography. Kids shouldn't really...
They don't need to anymore. They just download it for free, mate.
Well, they shouldn't really.
10 times, 100 times more graphically than anything you'll see in page 3.
Yeah. OK, fair enough. I accept that. I wouldn't know, Jimmy.
I mean, there isn't. I'm not sure, actually. I'm just agreeing with Matthew.
I would.
I don't see the point as well, but maybe it's because the paper are trying to provide something they think that blokes want. Because the back of the paper is full of sport, full of blokey stuff, and the front of the paper, oh, look at that. Maybe that's what they think is still going on in people's minds. I don't think it is. I think it's a very outdated idea. The fact that I like you, Jimmy, I think the fact that it's still in a national newspaper in 2010 is just beyond me. But I have to disagree, though. When I see people reading The Sun, I don't think dirty old man. I just think, oh, dear, you're not very bright.
Oh, really?
Well, you know what you say, Matthew, about the fact you can download it off the internet now and kids can do that. The Sun has had an enormous part to play in the fact that that is acceptable.
Page 3 is now, I believe, in 360 degrees. So this idea that it was...
They're turning their backs on us now.
Yeah, you can see all the way round.
Oh, there you go.
Which kind of, you know, that... OK, it's only something you can do online or on your iPads or iPhones or whatever, but it then moves it from being, if the psychologist would write some kind of weirdly soft and unsexual maternal image, much closer to pornography. Maybe you just think it's a lot of fuss about nothing. Maybe you think it's just harmless fun. Let's hear what you have to say.
OK, we have Julie first on line 1.
Julie, good morning.
Hello.
Hello. You a big fan of page 3?
No, not a big fan, but I just think that some people are born with brains and some people are born with big assets, and if that's a way to make your money, then, you know, why should we stop them?
Well, Julie, for starters, I'm with Leslie. I wouldn't consider what they get paid to be big money. You would probably earn more money working as a waitress for a week, admittedly, rather than one day, but you could earn more money doing that. You can do more money in pornography. What about, Julie? What about the daughters, right? What about the little girls in school today, right? We worry about over-sexualising the youth, right? What role does page 3 in The Sun play in redressing that problem?
The problem is that you've got the people like Jordan, who girls aspire to be. You know, little girls look at all sorts of images. You've only got to pick up a normal newspaper, a normal magazine.
And that's the point, isn't it, Julie? That page 3 normalises sexual prejudice and objectivity of women. It makes it normal. It doesn't make us think, here's a woman being exploited. It's not a high top-shelf magazine you have to bring down that covers with it all those kind of social implications, dirty old man, pornography. It normalises the sexualisation of women.
But I don't think it does, because the poses that those women are doing are just harmless fun. People see a lot worse images in computer games and all sorts of things nowadays. And I just think it's their choice, it's their opinion. I mean, I've got young sons of my own. They look at the paper, they don't comment on it at all.
Have you got daughters? Have you got daughters? Have you got daughters?
I haven't got daughters, no.
I wonder if you'd change your view if you had daughters. And you buy a paper or you show them and think, right, that's how men view you. You're a pair of boobs and nothing else. And by the way, only young boobs. Yeah, because when your boobs are a bit older, we're not interested anymore.
The girls that are doing it, it's their choice, it's their option.
It is their
Nobody's
choice.
making them do it.
Absolutely.
And at the end of the day, if they want to do that as a profession,
I don't have
then
any
that's their
problem.
option.
I don't have any problem with the girls whatsoever. I know some of them. Good luck to them. The problem I have is with highly paid male executives creating an environment in which these girls can work, but it's an environment, it's a photograph that sexualises and reduces women to objects, a pair of boobs. I want more than that for my woman. I want a small butt as well. Thank you for the call. Eric.
Well, we've got Sarah here. So, is there anything to celebrate with page 3?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I buy The Sun. I look at page 3 and I just think, oh, the girls look beautiful. It's a celebration of natural curves, because I know they're not allowed to be on page 3 if they've been cosmetically enhanced. I do think, though, we should have a male equivalent.
Right, when we used to, they dropped it because it didn't do anything for circulation. Wouldn't it be nice, just once, yeah, to open up page 3 of The Sun and to see a photograph of a nurse in uniform who's done a wonderful job in saving somebody's life, yeah? Or a scientist who's discovered something that's going to save the lives of millions of people around the world, instead of a pair of jugs. I'm serious. Wouldn't it be great that we saw something about women other than they're just a pair of boobs? That there's something else to celebrate in the fairer sex? That The Sun can dig just a little deeper? Maybe into the woman's mind, although not too deeply.
Yeah, but that's in there as well. It's not like, oh, buy The Sun and just look at boobs. I mean, you know...
Page 3.
all of that is in there as well. And the girls look tasteful. It's not as if they, you know, do look like porn, like they're in a porn mag or anything like that.
Sometimes they do.
Actually, is it possible, can we find out from if there is a gentleman in the audience who is for page 3? Because quite interesting, we've got 2 women, one the caller and one who are all for it. This is quite interesting. Any guys?
They'll put their hand up.
They're all gay, Stephen. That's why they come here for you. You're being objectified, mate. OK. Obviously, just us on the panel then take it really seriously and to heart, and the rest of you don't care. Let's see how we do our final part. Thanks for that, Sarah. After the break, what would you do if your car was blocked in by another? Wait for the driver of this other car to come along in their own good time and move it? Call the police for help or shunt it out of the way? 0207 173 5555 is the number for your thoughts and stories, and we'll hear as many as we can after one more quick break.
It is illegal to park in front of a private driveway. Is this true or is it false? Find out after the break.